which sustains one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need to consider the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we had a first and second, all in favor.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is consider the minutes of the June 2nd, 2026 regular meeting.
So moved. Second.
We had a first and second, all in favor.
Aye.
Motion carried. Any citizen wishing to make statements during the discussion of any item must first be recognized by the commission chair. After being recognized, that person should state their name and the name of any organization represented. Statements should be limited to 5 minutes. Please silence all phones and electronic devices. Recording the meeting is allowed, and the commission requests that anyone using special recording equipment be seated in the back row to avoid creating a distraction during the meeting. Moving on to old business, and there is no old business at this time. And moving on to new business, we have a resolution, and I believe Sheriff Brian Bellender will provide details.
Morning, commissioners.
Sheriff.
As you know, we need no staking microphone. We've been working on acquiring a firearm that belonged to Sheriff Moses, who was the first sheriff of Barton County. The goal of this resolution, and the reason I come to you for this, is this is a historic artifact that will mean a lot to generations to come in our county. The chances of actually finding this gun, along with its history and proven provenance, are just unlikely. The odds against it are astronomical. With the help of the Barton County Historical Society, who I've consulted with, and the Historical Society initially, as well as myself, had concerns as to where will this weapon ultimately wind up. Sheriffs come and go, county commissioners come and go. So it was my intention that once the money is raised and we have possession of the weapon, I cede the possession of it, the ownership of it, to you, the Board of County Commissioners. Diana went through, I basically told her what I wanted to do and what the object of the game was. And between her and Patrick Hoffman and myself, we created this resolution. The long and the short of it is, it basically cannot be disposed of. If for some reason the county would no longer want to display it or would no longer want to possess it, it would go to the Historical Society. And if for some reason the Historical Society doesn't want it, it remains in the possession of the county. And if the county still wants to dispose of it, it has to go to an institution where it would be displayed, a university, a museum, something, someplace, somewhere. That said, I think you can't read the future. I think we've covered our bases as well as we can. And that was Mr. Engelman from the Historical Society. That was his chief concern, is what's going to happen to this gun 25 years from now. And that's my chief concern also. It goes against every fiber of my soul to release possession of it to the Board of County Commissioners, but it's going to require, to dispose of it, will require 3 votes and my signature. Or the current sheriff's signature. It's going to be difficult to get rid of without following this resolution that you're putting that in place. And with that, I would ask that you pass this resolution. I'll have a few more comments once it's passed, but with that, I would ask that you pass this. I think it is in the best interest of the county. It's in the best interest of our citizens. And it is in the best interest of preserving an outstanding historical artifact. So with that, do your thing.
You spent a lot
I'm
of,
sorry.
you,
I'm sorry.
you spent a lot of time working on
You know,
this.
I was surprised. I looked back to see when I had first became aware of this, and it was March of last year. So it's been more than a year that I became aware of it and became in contact with it, or with the owner of the weapon. And that was another issue with the owner. Even though these people are not, well, firearms people, they realize that this is a historical artifact that belonged to this woman's great grandfather. And she wanted to make sure that it did not wind up the biggest danger for this gun was to wind up in a private collection and never be seen again. And then whoever that private collection belonged to, they die. Well, then it goes to auction and the history's lost. My take on it was I wanted to display it here in the courthouse due to the amount of traffic through here. And it may be something that, people just stop for 2 minutes, look at it, go, oh, that's cool. But they got to see a piece of Barton County history. I think it would be best served for the people of Barton County that it is on display here in the courthouse. Are there any other questions about the resolution end of this?
Some discussion?
Have you seen the gun yet? Have you seen the gun yet?
No, it's in New Jersey. We're discussing on how we're going to get it back. I don't know. There's a possibility it could be transported by a friend of hers who will be in New Jersey, but that's several months down the road. I've thought about contacting the United States Marshal Service who can fly it, see if the Marshal Service would fly it to me. I'm also in contact with TSA to see if I can carry it on board with me, because under certain circumstances, I'm allowed to fly with a firearm. I've done it quite regularly. I don't know. We're working on it.
Yeah.
Worst comes to worst, we'll load 2 of us in car driving to New Jersey, which that will not be fun. I looked at that. It's like a 28-hour drive.
Yeah.
It's horrible, but there's no way I'm going to take a chance flying out there and then checking it into baggage. As we all know, airlines never lose baggage.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes back, it is going to be in the possession of a law enforcement officer somehow. That's just part of the logistics we got to figure out yet.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So how long have you been looking for that gun?
I did not know the gun existed. It was pure happenstance. February of 2025, once a month, we have a chief's meeting. Where the chief of police, every chief of police and I get together and we have lunch and we, discuss current goings on around the county. Chance Bailey, chief of police of Hoisington, before the meeting, he came through my office. He tossed a photocopy of an article from the Washington Post on my desk. And he said, here, somebody brought this in my office, thought you might be interested in it. And I read through it, and it was basically, and I'll make sure you guys this is all available to you. But I read through it, and basically the gist of it was, what do you do with an expensive family heirloom that nobody really wants? They're on the East Coast, they're in New Jersey. That gun probably could be fired. I wouldn't, but it's a possibility. I mean, it shows, I think you've seen pictures of it, but it shows heavy pitting on the receiver and the frame, but it's nothing, it's cosmetic. It appears to be in full functioning order. When I get it back, I'm going to have to find a gunsmith. I'll probably run it to Wichita and stand there while they do it, but I'll have it completely disassembled, inspected, cleaned, and then prepped for long-term storage.
Congratulations on
I'm sorry to answer your question.
It seems like it's been more than a year to me.
Yeah, it really does, and then by the same token, it seems like it was last week, the first time I called her up. The story behind it is kind of interesting.
Weren't you looking for it before that newspaper article landed on your desk? Or?
No, I'm always looking for something.
Yeah,
to put in my
yeah,
desk.
maybe I'm intertwining. a few things.
What was interesting is when I went to contact this woman, I Googled her, and she's a writer, professional writer, and she's written for large publications, Washington Post, Bloomberg, the big stuff in the New York City area. And she was a resident of New York and then moved to New Jersey. I Googled her and couldn't find anything. I could find lots and lots of stories that she had the byline on that she had written, but I could not find any personal information as how to contact her. So out of desperation, I typed up a form letter, and any place where I saw that she had wrote an article, I sent one copy to the HR department and one copy to the managing editor. And about 3 weeks down the road, after I sent the letters out, phone rings, and I look down and driving down the road, and I look and it says New York City, and I thought, here we go, somebody selling me insurance or whatever. I damn near didn't answer it. And I answered it, and I cannot remember the man's first name. His last name was O'Brien. He said, "Yeah, is this Sheriff Elder?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "So and so." And he said, "I understand you're looking for Katie Hales." Or not Katie Hales, I'm sorry, Katie Roberts is the woman's name that owns it. And I said, "Yes, I am." "Well, she's a personal friend of mine. She writes for us. She's out of the country right now. I'll give her your contact information and have her contact you." And within a couple of weeks, she called me up, and we have been in negotiations, I guess, ever since. She's had the weapon appraised. She's had the history of the gun examined by experts. One of them in Kansas City, who I am familiar with. If these guys say it's the deal, it's the deal. These guys are professional gun graders and curators. So I have no doubt in my mind it is the gun. Serial numbers match on the weapon, which is a big deal, which means it was not pieced together at some point. So, yeah, it's a big deal to us.
Wow. How interesting. Mr. Chair, I think that the resolution was put together with a lot of thought for the.
Yeah, I'm sure Diana got tired of me because I would red line. I'm from the old school when they used to check reports. I had a red pen there on my desk. But there was a lot of red lining back and forth. And then Hoffman got involved, and he said, you probably need to do this or do that. And I agree. And to the extent, and we have this resolution will allow for institutions to borrow the gun, which is very common in museum settings, and curators will borrow something for a display. Let's say Ellsworth has their 150th whatever, and they want to display it. Okay. But they, between those two, they were thorough enough that there's even a form attached to this resolution that, you can borrow our gun, but you're not going to modify it, and we can demand it back at any time, and you can't have it for any more than 6 months, and who's responsible for it. So they did a very thorough job of creating this resolution.
It's pretty lengthy.
Yep.
Maybe somebody wants to read it. We need someone to read that aloud.
We have any,
There's a lot of whereases in there.
any more discussion on this?
Pretty exciting. Would you like a motion?
I'm ready for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt Resolution 2026-14, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Barton County, Kansas, accepting the donation of a revolver, providing for its display, and establishing restrictions on its sale or disposition.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Congratulations.
Thank you, Commissioners. Just a couple of other items. We have raised within 24 hours of a deal being struck, a verbal deal. We have raised a substantial amount of money. We're well over $10,000. That doesn't get us home. I still am going to have to get a display case, and maybe there's somebody in the courthouse with a little more aesthetic skill than I have to, find a display case. But it is my intent to order and I don't care if it's new or used, but I want a museum quality display case to put it in. I am still going to ask for contributions from the public. If you donate $100 or more, I'll put your name on a plaque. It's the public's chance for generations to come to say, yeah, Grandpa was part of this, or, Dad was part of this, or whatever. Also, I will be reaching out to anybody that I know of that I think I can track down who were previous sheriffs. We will have other items on display in the display case. The Historical Society has a very good collection of photographs and I believe some artifacts pertaining to the sheriff's office and the county. They have offered to come down periodically and change the display around to keep it fresh. And I thought, more power to you, because I'm probably not my forte. So I'm still going to need to raise some more money, and this would be a good way to be part of the history of this county. And, for $100, I'll put your name on the plaque. That's pretty cheap to be memorialized in the foyer of the Barton County Courthouse. We're very near our goal. We're going to shut it off July 4. I will not take any contributions after that point. The contributions are going to be run through, help me, Matt, 503C?
Yeah.
Okay. I have one 503C account that is separate from county money. That it's the Barton County Sheriff's Office Reserve Fund. That way we do not have any county money commingled with donations. I'm also, being a public account, I'm also subject to CORA. That way, if anybody ever has any questions, here you go. This is what we spent it on. I do not want to put myself or the commissioners into any sort of question that you spent tax dollars on this. I got a few other tricks up my sleeve that we can do that if necessary. But the bottom line is I'm not going to spend any tax money on this. On a personal note, there were a few things, and it's interesting how things crop up. But, I thought the final goal as being sheriff, was to be the longest serving sheriff in the history of the county. And I achieved that. And then this thing popped up. And in my mind, this is a bigger goal than serving the longest sheriff, because this is something that will be there for, hopefully, for generations to come. The one other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try to track down, I know 5 of them were family members of 5 sheriffs, but if you have ever held the elected office of sheriff, if you were ever sworn in as a Barton County sheriff, I would accept a gun from the family or from the individual to put on display with Moses' gun. So I don't know how many guns are going to wind up with. I'm going to donate mine when I'm done. I I don't know. I've talked to at least one other sheriff who is interested in donating a gun. So if anybody in the public or the audience or media or knows someone who is related, I mean, it could have been your great uncle, it could have been your great grandpa, it could have been your mom's cousin's brother who was sheriff at one time. If that gun still exists and you can give me some credible history on it, so that I know you didn't go over here to J&L and buy a 60-year-old gun and just put it on display. But if there is some credible evidence or an affidavit, I would put that gun on display also with the other firearms. I think that is something that we can do and make an interesting display for the general public to come in and look at. But I'm still going to need more money to do this. So everybody pony up $100 and I'll put your name on the plaque.
That sounds like a good deal.
All right. Any further questions, commissioners?
Okay,
We offer an amount of money for previous sheriff's guns, and who'd you talk to? Save me a phone call. Daly?
Buck,
Sorry?
Buck called me.
Oh, Buck, yeah. Okay, so we got Marks and Daly right there.
When I was looking, I figured Mark's Daily, Marion Weish's daughter was in my class when I graduated. I lost track of her, but I don't know people. I do know people where she's at. I already have Lou Becker's gun. He was sheriff, interesting fellow. He was sheriff in the 1930s and then came back around again in the 60s. And he was sheriff prior to Marion Weish. So there's a possibility we could get Weish's gun. We could get
Brian, are we asking them to loan those to us, or we
what I would
buy them?
do,
We try to get them
commissioners, I
donated.
would just create a document that says they're on permanent loan. If some reason the family, because they don't have the historic value that,
Well, not, yeah, right.
you know.
They're worth what they're worth on the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like mine, you know, that's a $1,500 gun.
How much are we gonna pay for that one?
I'm gonna give it to you.
Aye, all right.
And
See?
what I would probably do would just be ask if they put it on permanent loan, which is very common in museum settings. And quite honestly, most families or owners forget that it's even there by.
Are we asking for one they carried, their carry gun, not,
And that's the interesting thing about sheriffs. I have a department Glock issued to me and it's laying in the safe over there. I never took it. It seems like sheriffs, when we get elected, that is the one thing we do is we go out and buy our own gun just because. You waving at me or? But, and I know Buck did, I know Armstrong did. And prior to Jim Daly, we had to buy our own guns. When I went to work, you had to buy your own gun before you could go to work. So I still have that Colt. It was a Colt model 1911 like this. And then they issued us Glocks. And then when I got elected, I turned my Glock in and bought a Colt. But what I would suggest, you just put them on permanent loan. That way, if there's, because you don't know what's going to happen. You could wind up with a stink in an estate. You could wind up, you know, somebody died and it was willed to somebody else. And then, you know, maybe you could talk to them. But I would just ask us to put on permanent loan. So if anybody knows of anybody who once held the office, I would never in my wildest dreams thought that we were going to find the guy that had the first one. You know, so who knows what might turn out. It's just, who knows?
It'll be very interesting to see what happens.
So if there's any press around, I could probably use a press release on that sort of thing, but we will be issuing press releases. I've got a guy helping me, Chad earlier, he's helping me with, I don't do video very well. So they're helping me with doing video clips and, you know, putting this together. So we plan on running that for the next 2-3 weeks. And then, like I say, we're going to shut it off July 4. So And for the media, in the event somebody wants to make a donation, they can contact the sheriff's office or just drop by a check to 1416 Kansas Avenue, Great Bend, Kansas. They're called 60793-1876.
Make checks payable to.
Barton County Sheriff's Office Reserve Fund.
There we go.
Until July 3rd, until July 3rd, since the 4th is a holiday. Okay.
Yeah, I just felt like we needed to reach a point where okay, we're done.
Mhm.
This is it.
Yeah.
We're gonna do what we're gonna do. So if anybody would like to, just go ahead and contact us, drop a check off. And you do not have to put your name on the plaque. There are some people that just don't want it. And if that's the case, fine, I'll leave you off. But this was a bucket list thing for me. And once it's sitting over here, I'll have accomplished it. Seriously though, I know you guys just spent a fortune on this courthouse and it looks good. If you have somebody who has the interior decorating skills or the talent to kind of help me decide what kind of display case to put in here and how to do it, I would be more than willing to accept some guidance on this. Also, I know that this is more, I understand that this project is going to be more than just the gun. So if I raise excess of what I need, my promise still stands. I will see that that comes to the commissioners to further the projects that you guys want to work on, just so that they are historic in nature.
I think that's something we're working on and willing to do.
So, you know, if I can cough up some money or get a little extra money out of this deal, I'll be more than happy to help the commissioners do that. But the bottom line is, this is one of those things I'm gonna need help from the public. I'm gonna need some money from the public to help get this done. I think the interest is out there. This is something that a lot of people probably want to be a part of. So I was waiting until after this resolution passed to start contacting some donors who have indicated that they will help us out. So, any further questions?
Okay, I think the main thing is it's no tax money is being used.
Not a dime.
And we know where to write the check to, Barton County Sheriff's Reserve Fund.
Yep.
And drop it off at your
Drop it
office.
off, mail it.
Mhm.
Hell, I'll come by and get it. You know, if it's in my county.
Mhm. Yeah, so I
don't
think,
want to drive to Colby and pick one up, but you know, we'll work with you, whatever we need to do.
okay,
So I appreciate it, commissioners. And, you know, when I first came over here with this during the study session, I didn't have much information, but I appreciate the support that you guys have shown me all the way through. I was very fortunate that I had the group of commissioners that I do that understand the importance and the legacy that's going to be involved with this. A lot of people don't care about history, care less about some rusty old gun set in New Jersey. But I was fortunate. I got the right group of people this time around. So thank you very much.
I'd have to agree with you because I think all 5 of these commissioners are 100% behind you.
Thank you.
I really do believe that.
I appreciate it. And if at any time any questions pop up during this process, please feel free to contact me. Not hard to locate. Thank you,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you for everything you do, Sheriff. Okay, we're going to move on to, I guess, maybe this isn't quite as exciting, but but it is exciting though.
Follow that, Jennifer.
That's hard to follow.
Solid waste, and Miss Jennifer Hamby, our solid waste director, will provide details.
Morning,
Morning.
Commissioners. In the 2026 operating budget, the commission allocated $15,000 under solid waste for local recycling with an understanding that applications will be awarded locally. Eligible to apply include any county department, agency, organization, recycling center, city, school district, or community college located in Barton County. To be eligible, the application must demonstrate a positive economic and environmental impact in the county, be consistent with the Barton County Solid Waste Management Plan, benefit the county and its residents, and increase recycling. Applications were received from Cans for Kids Fighting Cancer, Sunflower Diversified Services, 2 separate applications from Great Bend High School, and 1 from Rosewood Services. After reviewing all the applications, I'm recommending Cans for Kids. They requested $5,294.10 for new signage and receptacles. And Rosewood Services requested $9,840 for a new recycling 40-yard roll-off bin, hand carts, and signage as well.
Before we go any further, I will not be part of the discussion or a vote on this. So just for the record.
I will be. Oh, I just want to say that these are 2 great organizations for this money to go to. You don't think of like some of the farmers that live out in the country as the kind of people that bring in recycling. But man, I'll tell you what, I've seen more pop cans coming into the Cans for Kids bins from out in the country than anything else. I've never seen anything like it. There's one across the street from my store. The last 15 years, I've watched these old boys pull in and just unload pickup beds full of cans into that thing. So I know that one's working. And then also in my business, I see a lot of electronic waste, a lot of it, and not a really great way to recycle it. So if they've got a nice 40-foot roll off this would be for like what, TVs and electronics and computers.
What they use that for is any of the plastic parts that cannot be recycled, and then we do dispose of them for free out at the landfill.
Anyway, if we're trying to recycle, these are 2 great things to support.
And I think we got great applications across the board. So thanks everybody who,
Wish we could fund them all.
Admitted,
but
yes.
not possible.
so definitely we had great applications, but I support these 2 as well.
We have more discussion? Anybody?
You ready for a motion?
I'm ready for a motion.
Move to award the 2026 Solid Waste Community Recycling Activities Grant allocation as follows. Cans for Kids, $5,294.10 for signage and receptacles. Rosewood, $9,840 for e-cycling equipment signage. Further, upon request of the county, recipients shall provide a funding report to the commission to include how the award was used and the outcome of expenditures.
And I'll second that.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried.
Now, thank you for your work on this.
I think both of these organizations will be very happy with this outcome. So
I agree. You abstained from that vote.
and I abstain from that vote, yes.
Morning, Matt.
Morning.
Okay, item Z, I guess a little slow here. Central Kansas Community Corrections and Mr. Potson, our county administrator, will provide details. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So the commissioners approved Brentwood Builders creating 2 conference rooms from one larger office at the Barton County Annex on May 19th. At that time, the cost was to be paid from the local funding budget or the 096 fund. As the fiscal year comes to a close, it's been determined that the funding would be better spent from the CKCC budget fund 095, which is the state block grant. So this is more kind of a housekeeping thing, but this would shift the costs from the local kind of fee-based funds to the actual state block grant.
Do we have discussion?
I think this is just housekeeping to move it.
I believe so.
And their CKCC budgets, it ends June 30th, right?
Right.
So this is kind of just housekeeping to
Right,
square that budget up.
something that we need to get done, taken care of.
Yep. Do you want a motion?
Yeah, I'm ready for a
Mr.
motion.
Chair? I move to rescind the May 19, 2026 motion and instead authorize Brentwood Buildings to create 2 conference rooms in the Barton County Annex for a cost of $15,350, cost to be paid from the CKCC budget, building and fixed equipment line 095-70-65-6325.
And
I'll second that.
Got a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Moving on to executive session. Do we have need for executive session? And I see none. Okay, moving on to ending business. Announcements following the close of the agenda meeting. The commission will consider the authorization of personal changes for classified positions, signing any documentation approved during the agenda meeting, or sign any other documentation required for regular county business. Similar action may take place throughout the day. Appointments, although subject to change, the following appointments have been scheduled at 9:45 or following the close of the agenda meeting, planning session with media consultants. 10 a.m. Regular business discussion, Matt Postner, County Administrator. 10:15 program update, Marissa Woodmansee, Juvenile Services Director. At 10:45 program update, Josh Beckman, County Engineer, Kirkland and Michael. 11 o'clock program update, Chris Schartz, County Works Director. 11:30 progress report, Logan Burns, City Administrator. At noon, the commission will consider business discussion and the county edition, KVGB AM, Thursday at 11:05. Sheriff Brian Bellinger is scheduled for June the 11th, 2026.
Wonder what he's gonna be talking about. Well, if you don't know, you probably talk about that gun.
I don't know why I'm on there, quite
Oh.
honestly.
Oh, I see.
Unless you're buying lunch.
We're buying lunch?
Well, anyway,
I already owe my original lunch, so,
Oh, yeah.
which, I'm sorry.
yeah, no, that's
I'll
fine.
wait for the public discussion point here.
I do know though that Mr. Sheriff Bellinger, when he does get on there, he said, well, I usually don't know what to talk about when I get here, but usually you're pretty entertaining and
Oh, we love listening to you talk.
interesting information. So if anybody else doesn't, I'll have to say I enjoy watching or listening to you.
Tune in, huh?
Because you kind of go off on something, it's like usually a lot of history. So that's all.
Somebody had.
But it's very interesting to me. So, and I'm sure it is to many others. So other business discussion items, this is mainly for the commissioners. Do we have discussion, anything that we have done this last week? Okay. Next is citizens, organizations may present requests or proposals for initial consideration at this time.
There we go.
I just wanted
Yes.
to, you said lunch and that reminded me I owed Marissa lunch when she walked in this morning. We had two topics that are just a nightmare for somebody that runs a jail is juveniles and mental illness. I can't hold either one in the jail. Juvenile law is so convoluted and changes so frequently, it's virtually impossible for us to keep up. We try to do what we think is right, and then we find out we're 6 months behind. So I put on a training class for, I don't know if you want to know this or not, but I blackmailed every agency in Barton County. I told them I was having problems, they're trying to dump juveniles and mental cases on me. So I told them, unless you're at this class next week, you're not going to book a prisoner into my jail. You're going to have to go find somebody that took this class and they can book them, but you're not. So we got a turnout from every law enforcement officer in the county, including the highway patrol. And then once I did that, I realized, damn, I don't know crap about juvenile law. So I called Marissa and she came down. She did an hour and a half block in each one of those classes. No questions asked, jumped right on it, did an excellent job. I just wanted to publicly thank her for saving my ass.
Okay.
So good job.
Well, thank you. It's great that the county can work together on different departments. So, and sometimes you just have to do what you think is right, no matter
It's
which,
just,
no matter what.
you know, that's her
Mhm.
field of expertise. It's not mine.
Mhm.
And it's just so hard for us to keep up. And maybe you're gonna warn them, but there's some law coming down the pipe that ain't gonna be good for us. It's gonna cost us money. Yeah, it better be budgets. It's gonna be tough.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna steal her thunder, but we're going to have to arrest juveniles the state is going to attempt to require us to arrest juveniles under certain circumstances when, in my personal opinion, they would have been much better served with a NTA, a ticket, and sent on their way. So this could get real stinky for us
Big changes on law enforcement. So,
and them.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
right, and everyone involved in this. Mhm.
because if we hook them up, we put them in, we take them into custody. I can't do anything with them. I gotta call her, and then one of her people takes over from there. Well, we're burning up everybody's overtime. And in this case, I think it's could be frivolous charges that are gonna ball it up. So I'll let her pass the good news.
Okay, all righty, thank you. Next is the commissioners are available to the public on Tuesdays during regular business hours. One or more commissioners may be present in the commission chambers conducting county business throughout the day on Tuesdays. The commissioners may individually schedule personnel appointments related to the county business or at their discretion. The next regular meeting will be at 9 a.m. Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. And with that, I'm ready for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.